How real is the shit? As real as it gets. It's real talk and I'm really the shit. I'm like a star in the presence of gifts. Give you light where it doesn't exist. Real truth put me up on the list. Real talk, can you handle the spit? Real facts put your soul on the lips so we can journey with a solar eclipse. There's realness when reality hits. In the presence of minds with third eyes open, all in this bitch. Eyes shut, we just open with slits so you can focus on truth. The vortex catching all of these myths. Facts spoken through the strength of my lips. I'm so amazing with this. Truth is, I'm as real as it gets.
Okay, work on this shit. My bad, y'all. Forgive me. I be ready to give up, but then people do be encouraging me and stuff like that. But you gotta understand, if you want somebody like me to keep bringing you this truth, or you want me to keep risking shit, I want to say this though.
How real is the shit? As real as it gets. It's real talk and I'm really the shit. I'm like a star in the presence of gifts. Give you light where it doesn't exist. Real truth put me up on the list. Real talk, can you handle the spit? Real facts put your soul on the lips so we can journey with a solar eclipse. There's realness when reality hits. In the presence of minds with third eyes open, all in this bitch. Eyes shut, we just open with slits so you can focus on truth. The vortex catching all of these myths. Facts spoken through the strength of my lips. I'm so amazing with this. Truth is, I'm as real as it gets.
What the fuck you really give a fuck about? I'ma say that. See, a lot of y'all support bullshit. A lot of y'all say you don't want drama. A lot of y'all say you don't want XYZ, but then you don't support a channel like me. And I ain't the only channel out here like me. Anybody, any channel out here that's trying to educate you or wake you the fuck up, support us. Period.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Real Evvonne. I'm Evvonne, your host. Now, you can tell by the title and you can, the thumbnail and all that, what it's about to be. So what I'm about to do, I got it right this time, y'all, because y'all know that last one was a fuck show, okay? It was kind of messed up, but I got it right this time, right? I uploaded and everything like that, right? I know some of y'all might be like, well, why she just don't do it? Look, I'm lazy as fuck, and I got a lot of shit going on right now nowadays. So I'm going to continue to do things the way I want to do. I don't give a fuck how anybody else think I should do anything on my channel, because I don't have to do anything. Message. Now, with that being said, you see the title, you see the thumbnail. What I'm going to talk about, or I'm going to show y'all tonight. I told you I was going to get back to the information. I'm going to get back to the things that's going to help you and your family, all of us, right? Food insecurity. For whatever reason, some people seem to think that food insecurity only affects certain people. That is not true. So I put together a 30-minute, it's 30 damn minutes. If you don't have 30 minutes to watch it, click the fuck off right now. But if you watch it on the replay, fast forward. Look, learn to fast forward. Look, don't comment no fuck shit like, when's it start? Why is the intro so long? It's a fucking live, okay? A live means you allow people to come in. With that being said, I'm going to need you all to be proactive. I'm going to need you to learn to do fast forward on your shit. What's up? Yes, the SAG. Oh, shit. I hope I said your name right. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you, though, too. Please share it and thumbs up and all that. Thank you. Let me say it real quick. With food insecurity, right? The experience scale, right? Like I said, it's different. It's levels to this, right? You got the mild. Meaning you're uncertain regarding the ability to obtain food. Then you got your moderate. Moderate is the wider range. Look on the screen. And if you're not looking on the screen, I'm letting you know moderate is the wider range. Going from compromising on food quality and variety to reducing food quantity, skipping meals. That's what moderate means. And then on the other end, which is the end of it, which is severe. No food for a day or more. Okay? That's the definition of food insecurities. With that being said, let's go. If you got headphones on, I suggest you put headphones on, but if you don't, turn your shit all the way up because I'm about to play it.
We're facing a food pricing problem in 2022 that's creating havoc around the world. Well, if we don't get on top of this thing quickly, and I don't mean next year, I mean this year, you will have a food availability problem in 2023, and that's going to be hell. We're looking at an $11 billion shortfall of food production inside Africa alone. Now, I could go to Central America, South America, same issues on droughts. India, devastated by heat and drought, and it could go on and on. We were able to avert famine in the last couple of years as I went to the leaders of the world said if you don't respond, you will have catastrophe on catastrophe, is particularly in the height of COVID. And the leaders did respond. We averted that. But then Ukraine comes on, shutting down the breadbasket of the world that produces enough food to feed 400 million people.
With regard to food shortage, yes, we did talk about food shortages. And it's going to be real. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia, it's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well. And because both Russia and Ukraine have been the breadbasket of Europe in terms of wheat, for example, just to give you one example. But we had a long discussion in the G7 with with both the United States, which has a significant, the third largest producer of wheat in the world, as well as Canada, which is also a major producer. And we both talked about how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages. And in addition to that, we talked about urging all the European countries and everyone else to end trade restrictions on sending limitations on sending food abroad. And so we are in the process of working out with our European friends what it would take to help alleviate the concerns relative to food shortages.
Long lines outside grocery stores, shopping carts stacked with bags of rice. People climbing on shelves to get their hands on the last remaining rice bags. NRIs in the US and Canada are in a frenzy to secure their supply of non-basmati white rice. Why? Because India has decided to ban non-basmati white rice exports. This move has led to panic buying, hoarding, and spiking of prices.
Today, I came here only for rice. Sona Masuri rice. I'm living like 30 miles from this place. So I was looking for this rice. It's a normal, regular life, okay? I didn't even look into this, whatever crazy setup. So I went almost 10 plus shops to get one bag of Sona Masuri rice, okay? So I traveled all the way. Morning I started 9 a.m. searching each and every shop. I ended today. What is the time now? It's 4 p.m. I got one bag with triple price, $34. Used to be only 17 or 18.
I have not experienced that type of extreme chaos in our local stores, although well, you know, I can imagine parts of the country that has happened. But pretty much, you know, whatever the consumer could lay their hands on while they had a chance, they did try to stock up as much as they could. And as soon as retailers came to know the extent of the situation, they started rationing their own sales and started reaching out to importers and wholesalers.
So why has India decided to ban the export of non-basmati white rice? It's because rice production in India has been severely impacted by adverse weather conditions, including heavy rains in rice-producing states. India is also struggling with high food prices. Last September, the centre imposed a 20% export duty on rice to lower prices in domestic markets. But despite this, the retail prices of rice have climbed up. While parboiled rice is exempt from the ban, the primary objective is to ensure a steady supply of non-basmati white rice on the domestic market while keeping a check on price rises. But at the end of the day, rice is a staple across the world, and this ban is expected to reduce its availability by about a fifth on the world market. The move comes just 3 days after Russia's withdrawal from the Black Sea grain deal. This ban has raised alarm bells and is expected to have far-reaching impact on global food security and food prices.
A food shortage in the UK is forcing some supermarkets to ration fruits and vegetables. And as CTV's Vanessa Lee tells us, British consumers are dealing with fallout from a combination of factors.
We've been to a couple of different supermarkets today, and there are a lot of empty shelves, a lot of signs that say temporarily out of stock. And so that is why more or less every grocery chain here has put limits in place. The one that we went to today, called Aldi, puts a limit on the number of cucumbers and tomatoes and peppers that people can buy. So it's a limit of 3 per customer. And the sign says it's so that there is enough to go around for everyone. And really, and at other grocery stores, it's not just the 3 items I just mentioned, but there's also raspberries that are in short supply. So they're limiting those, as well as bagged salad and cauliflower as well. And there are a couple of reasons for this. The first one that you mentioned is weather. So the UK gets a lot of its produce from Morocco and Spain, which has been hit with adverse weather, everything from drought to heavy rain and even a cold snap. It was actually snowing in Morocco yesterday. And Spain has also been hit hard, and its tomato crop is 20% smaller than it was last year. And this combined with another issue, because there's a lot of produce that is grown here in the UK as well, but there are local farmers who didn't grow as much this year because of high energy costs. They use the heated greenhouses, and because of skyrocketing costs, they did not grow as much. And so that is why we are seeing this shortage at the supermarket.
This bustling city does not reflect the terror that lurks on the fringes, Islamist militants at war with the government. But even here, young kids are reeling from the impact of devastating food shortages worsened by conflict. Days ago, Bintu Hassan's 2-year-old son arrived at this hospital ward, wasted and hypoglycemic. She says she's already suffered too much loss.
I gave birth to 4 children, but 2 died due to malnutrition. I have 2 left, and this one is also sick. I was referred to this place.
More than 700,000 kids in Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe states suffer from severe acute malnutrition, according to the United Nations. The UN says the situation could get worse between June and September, the so-called hunger gap period when foodstuffs from the previous harvest traditionally run out. Last year's bumper harvest was disrupted by Nigeria's worst flooding in a decade.
With 600,000 hectares of farmland destroyed, washed away, there will in the immediate future be serious food shortages.
And there isn't enough food aid to go around. This is Ran, a community near Nigeria's border with Cameroon. Residents say no aid has arrived here in 8 months. Kelu Modu says without much food, she couldn't breastfeed her baby and she became malnourished.
When I gave birth to this baby, there was not enough breast milk to feed the baby with, and the baby started vomiting and also had diarrhea.
The food shortage is in part a result of Russia's war in Ukraine and the recent crisis in Sudan. But officials say Nigeria's inflation and recent currency reform policy also constrained people's ability to buy food. UNICEF nutrition manager Karanvir Singh says despite crucial aid diverted to other global emergencies, Nigeria is still getting food supplies.
The global package for different, because of different emergencies in the world, is shrinking. But presently, we are well placed. But of course, we would need continued support.
Nigerian security forces have significantly degraded the fighting power of the militants. But the country is still at war. And until that is over, millions will be fighting a different type of war: hunger.
Yeah, good morning. Overnight, the calls for help just keep coming, including this message that'll just break your heart. It's from a mother of 3 reaching out to 11 Alive saying she's done all her paperwork on time, but her case is pending with no updates. Check out what she has to say. School is now out, and I'm having a hard time feeding my family. She says she's exhausted every food bank option for the month, and she does not know how much longer she can go without benefits. Now, the latest state numbers show more than 50,000 SNAP cases have not been paid on time. That number is up since May. All of this unfolding as DHS continues hiring amid a shortage of workers. The agency also saying it really needs the federal government to step in and approve some special waivers allowing the use of technology to process cases faster. In some cases, that would mean using bots to automate cases without caseworker interaction. Now, DHS, they tell me some of those requests have been pending for more than a year. The USDA, which oversees the changes, they couldn't give me a timeline for a decision. Officials telling me that they are reviewing these requests while working on guidance for states that want to use this type of technology. Meanwhile, DeKalb resident Donna McGeehee, she tells me she can't get in touch with her caseworker and she's missing needed money for food.
I have been and will probably have to go to a food bank and get food. Other than that, we're just trying to get by.
Now, Ms. Donna basically told me that the situation just makes her feel like she doesn't matter.
Let's go, let's roll.
Senior Navy Chief Andre Sutherland runs food pantries like training drills.
Pull up, sir, keep going, please. The line wraps around the corner, all the way down the street.
Sutherland brings his recruits each week to help distribute food and clothing to local veterans and service members at the Midwest Veterans Closet.
Thank you for your service.
But he also relies on the pantry himself.
First time I was shy, I was apprehensive, and you're in the military, everybody think we're making all this money, but we're not.
A 2022 Military Family Advisory Network survey of service members found 1 in 6 respondents are experiencing food insecurity, significantly higher than the general population. Finding military families are economically vulnerable because of factors like frequent moves, high rates of spousal unemployment, and how salary and housing allowances are considered for federal aid.
Let's explain a little bit about how the housing factors into the food insecurity.
Military families receive what's called a basic allowance for housing. The way that SNAP is calculated, it includes that basic allowance for housing in their calculation. And so most military families are not eligible.
It's a problem made worse by the pandemic and a year of high inflation.
I recently met with 12 other food bank CEOs representing food banks in Florida and Texas. They are all saying the same thing, an unprecedented need. Ooh, very nice.
Navy wife and mom of 2, Josie, who asked us not to use her last name, recently got a part-time job to supplement her husband's salary.
It takes extreme budgeting skills and financial awareness to understand how much you need to save in order to survive.
She's frustrated by what she feels is a lack of government support.
They are aware of the problem, but they don't care. That's why I'm angry. That's why I'm frustrated.
The Department of Defense tells NBC News it takes the issue of food insecurity within the military community extremely seriously and is executing a holistic strategy of policies, programs, and other initiatives. But for some, those changes only go so far.
There we go. I never understood why veterans struggle so much or why military members struggle so much until I seen it for myself. Thank you, ma'am. Food is one thing that we need to survive. That's like a big thing to survive. And me being part of this, it's very rewarding.
Service shifting from the front lines to the home front.
Good evening, Natalie and Anthony. Jackson is the state's largest city, yet it has 1 Walmart and 1 Kroger. Behind me is a boarded up food depot. It used to be one of the other options for fresh produce and meats in this part of town, but it shut its doors last month. Folks who live here tell us the closure was partly due to crime, but also nearby dollar stores taking more business.
It's just terrible. We have convenience stores, like they on every corner everywhere. And we need more grocery stores.
In a city where 26% of people live below the poverty line, stores leaving town is just part of life.
Things open and things close all the time, so we just deal with it as the day go by.
But with food options now more limited, the USDA says 1 in 5 people in Jackson are considered food insecure.
There are no grocery stores in walking distance from this area.
A recent study from the Institute for Local Self-Reliance calls out dollar stores for pushing larger grocers out of urban and rural areas. In Jackson, there are 39 dollar stores, but healthy options are limited there.
They don't have fresh vegetables in them. Purple Elite. I'm very happy with that one.
One solution, more community gardens. Retiree Norma Michael has been helping to feed her neighbors the last 3 years.
I made a bid with the state, and so I got the whole lot for less than $500. We have corn, we have beans, a variety of peppers, a variety of tomatoes, have a strawberry patch. This way it's convenient, and so I love it. I love it. I love doing it.
We reached out to representatives with Dollar General and Dollar Tree for this story. Both dollar chains say that they are not grocery stores. They're meant to complement them, not replace them.
Jackie Gordon walks the same Chicago track every day, circle after circle, alone.
So much happens to us that nothing really surprises you anymore.
Alone and neglected is how many in this community have felt for years, stuck in a circle of poverty that existed long before this pandemic.
In this area, I think that we don't have a lot of the resources that we need to have, whether it's dealing with health, whether it's dealing with food, or dealing with just everyday things that people, necessities that we have to have.
Nikia Love has lived in Chicago's Auburn Gresham neighborhood her entire life. In the 40s, her grandparents helped integrate the block, a community now 96% Black.
Everyone is a close net because we've all just been here for so long.
Auburn Gresham saw the first COVID-19 death in the state, but this certainly isn't the first time it has dealt with adversity. What was life like in Auburn Gresham even before COVID?
Well, prior to, there was still economic issues. Businesses were closing. Two of the main businesses, one was a grocery store, Save a Lot. They shut down in January. So that was walking distance for a lot of residents.
If you look at the surrounding area, you will see there's no grocery stores. The only type of grocery store that we do have is considered Walgreens.
Unemployment here nearly 30%, and that's before the 1 in 4 Americans who lost a job in the pandemic. What is it like being furloughed and not being at work at this moment?
It is challenging. So the first thing that went into my mind was, how am I getting ready to feed my child every day, all day?
Nikia worries about her 12-year-old daughter. She is not alone.
I would say right now there is a very strong need for food.
Food insecurity on the rise, not just in Chicago, but cities and states around the country.
I'm scared, to be quite honest with you.
Shardea Fuqua lives in Detroit with her 1-year-old daughter and 2-year-old son.
Can you point to a letter, Chloe? Wow.
Since the pandemic began, according to the Brookings Institute, 17% of moms with children 12 and under say their kids are not eating enough because they can't afford food. That's a 460% jump from 2018.
In my community in Detroit urban areas, it's not a lot of opportunities to have really healthy food. I'm going to be really clear and honest with you. I live in Highland Park, Michigan. They do sell foods that are not maybe expired and high-priced foods.
For a lot of people, having the kids at home, it's like, well, we've got to be more creative. We've got to make sure they're not bored. Those are the biggest concerns. But in your community, the concerns are much greater than that.
Absolutely, the concerns are greater. I can't think about creative activities because I'm thinking about I'm about to get evicted. I know I need to feed you today.
It's taken a virtual village to help parents like Shardea. She was among 200 families offered a $500 grant by Focus Hope, a Detroit charity helping with essentials and missed bills.
That money really supported me with bills.
Money that likely wouldn't have arrived if not for an anonymous network of Black donors with means.
What we really understand is that as a community, we have to take care of ourselves. We can't rely on anyone else to take care of ourselves.
And while the daily struggle among African Americans is real, there are those in the top tier, CEOs, business executives, others who want to give back. An Urban Institute study found of any race, Black families contributed the largest proportion of their wealth to charities.
We started with the goal of raising $5 to $10 million, recognizing that the economic environment was so challenging. With the support of this group, we've secured over $17 million of commitments of support. And that it was in a matter of weeks. It was extraordinary.
$17 million dispatched all across the country, from Los Angeles to New Orleans to the Greater Auburn Development Corporation in Chicago.
I say to you, my first thought was, how can I feed my child? My second thought was, how am I getting ready to pay my rent?
Circle of poverty that those who are able are desperately trying to break.
Lunch. We have grilled chicken breasts, baked potatoes with broccoli.
Yes, I think I'll do mac and cheese.
And we also have yams.
Yeah, mac and cheese. More peanut butter.
But for too many of us, that everyday question, what's for lunch, has no easy answer. In Western Pennsylvania, 300,000 people are food insecure.
That means that they don't always know where their next meal is coming from.
So it's been times where, it's been hard to kind of keep food on the table.
I have learned how to be sparing. Imagine what that feels like.
This crisis is not only about money, it is also a problem of geography and access.
Clarendon is a food desert.
The grocery stores closed down.
You have to go far to get healthy stuff.
We also talk about food swamps. Those are communities that do have food available, but it's typically fast food or unhealthy food.
In our land of plenty, where a fast bag of food can be found most anywhere, there always have been hungry people.
And I seen the suffering of people.
And then came the pandemic.
Each one of those was a family.
You know, you don't want people to know that you're going through.
It was a giant spotlight and a wake-up call.
In this richest of countries, people woke this morning to empty shelves. This is the story of families who struggle to fill them and of many neighbors working to help. In pantries, on farms.
We're able to donate enough apples to feed 25,000 households.
In community gardens.
I think we have to learn how to feed ourselves. So if we don't get this right, every aspect of our lives will be affected by this.
Many families can't afford healthy food, and some can't get to it. Food insecurity has reached a crisis.
There are whole communities that are starved.
In a centuries-old log cabin in a quiet, leafy corner of Greene County, Marilyn and Billy Sisk are enjoying a late summer breeze and thinking about lunch.
I would make a curry or maybe a soup.
Whatever Marilyn decides to cook, she'll need some help filling the pantry. For the first time in their lives, the couple have found themselves food insecure, a bland euphemism for a serious problem that has cast a shadow of worry over their lives.
We had a car accident. We got rear-ended while we were stopped at a red light, and he literally wrecked his rotator cuff.
Billy is now on disability, and Marilyn has a bad back.
So we've gone from being a two-wage family to relying on benefits.
The last 2 years has just been horrible for me because I can't do nothing.
Today, Marilyn will drive a few miles from home to get help. She will have lots of company. The Corner Cupboard Food Bank provides hundreds of food boxes every month. On this day in August, Marilyn waited in a line that stretched across the Greene County Fairgrounds.
Rebecca, you need a bread?
Yes, thank you.
Last year, when we were trying to get his disability, we had not one penny coming into the house. We just went to one car.
See you later.
We really pulled the belts in.
So how'd you get on? A lot of people there?
Yeah. Here, you can carry these 3 bags in with your,
Carry those in,
your
for
left
sure.
hand. We have beans, peanut butter, corn, 2 corn. For 2 years now, we've had to learn how to survive. I mean, people think, they see what we live in and they think, oh, they're all right, they're all right. 2 green beans. You've still got to pay your bills, regardless of whether you've got an income coming in or not. So we always make sure that what's owed is paid first. Vegetable soup. You have to have the internet here because there's no service, no cell phone service to speak of. Fruit and nut mix. So the phones only work through the internet. UHT milk, that lasts. So food comes very far down the line.
The boxes held enough food to keep Marilyn and Billy fed for weeks. Cereal for breakfast and bread for lunch and canned beef for dinner. In a backyard in Glassport, the sound of chickens sizzling on the grill is mixing with the sound of drumming wafting up from the basement. While Veronica Baker tends to Sunday supper, her son DeMarcus is getting in some noisy practice.
It doesn't bother me. I don't mind it. A lot of times, I enjoy it.
You trying to let me get that itty bitty piece right there?
This early fall afternoon found Veronica and her children in some of the most difficult times they'll ever face. Veronica, a single mother, has breast cancer, a health crisis made worse by food insecurity.
You have a secure income and you think you're okay, and then out of the blue, you're not okay. You don't know how you're going to feed your family.
A year ago, this family was thriving. Mom working as a medical biller, daughter Triana finishing her senior year of high school, and DeMarcus playing in a band. And then the cancer and the fear that came with it.
For the most part, I tried not to show it.
What followed was a cascade of events that hit hard.
And I have to call off and go to chemo, or when I have to do testing or anything like that, that's shortening my hours.
Smaller paychecks mean less money to buy food, which for a cancer patient has to be the right food.
They said if you switch up your diet, that does help you fight cancer. They cost so much. It don't make any sense that the healthier food costs more than the food that's not healthy.
We have tomato sauce, soups.
Veronica is loading up on groceries at the Healthy Food Center at Allegheny General Hospital. She was referred here by her doctors, a kind of healthy food prescription based on the understanding that food is medicine.
So these are always a little bit different, but it looks like we got nice cantaloupe, some onions, potatoes, cucumbers.
The food she'll take home will help fight her illness and feed her kids.
So that stretch out my food for us, because that way when I am coming up short, that helped me out where we're able to keep food in the house. I would feel less than a parent not to be able to feed my kids. That would make me feel really bad. Kind of encourage them to just keep focused on their things that they have going on, and to just let them know that, I will be all right. I'm still fighting.
Food insecurity is also a big concern among our youngest neighbors. In New York, more than 1.8 million people are facing hunger, and more than 500,000 of them are children. Joining me now is pediatrician Dr. Kofi Essel. And good morning, doctor. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, as a pediatrician, what are some of the signs of food insecurity you look for in children or their family?
I think this is a wonderful question. What I usually tell my colleagues around the country is that looking for a sign is actually a trap. If you look for a sign, you're looking for something that's really jumping into your face. And the reality is that food insecurity is often described as being invisible. You cannot consistently rely upon weight changes, lab changes, things that you're seeing in front of you. You have to recognize that food insecurity is ubiquitous. It exists in every single county around this country. And to rely on those things is going to be unreliable for you as a provider and for all of us. And when we're addressing this topic, when we think about food insecurity in children, I like to think about this through sort of a pathway. In general, when we see that a family has a sudden financial hardship, what ends up happening? With a sudden financial hardship, families have something we call food anxiety, this constant preoccupation with where their next meal is going to come from. That oftentimes leads into a decrease in the quality of food when they've done everything they can to stretch their dollars. Now you see the quality of food begin to decrease, the variety decrease, the desirability decrease. Families purchasing items that they know they're going to eat and not try to buy a variety of different foods because they don't want to waste their money. The last thing that you tend to see after the quality of food decreasing is the quantity of food beginning to decrease. First with the parents, right? They will decrease anything that they can in order for their children to be able to eat more. And then lastly, with children, I always tell my colleagues around the country, even though children are facing a deprivation of food all the way down this journey, we have to recognize that that stress that's in the home is felt through this whole journey for every child that's in this experience.
Let's talk more about that. How can food insecurity impact a child's health and development?
When I think about the role of food insecurity affecting one's health and development in children, I like to think through the lens of stress, especially this term that we use called toxic stress. When families and individuals are experiencing food insecurity, we need to understand this. Food insecurity typically doesn't travel by itself. It goes along with a variety of other social stresses as well. It just happens to be one of the first things that drops because why? The food budget is so flexible at times. Families can stretch it and do a variety of things with it to get by. So the thing that occurs is because of this toxic stress, we see that, especially with younger children, we see significant changes occurring in the brain. We see parts of the brain increasing in size permanently. We see parts of the brain shrinking in size permanently. And we know as a result of that, it makes children more impulsive. It makes it harder for them to make those right decisions. We know that it impacts their ability to focus in the classroom. We've seen its role in affecting their development. It increases ER hospitalization rates, ER rates and hospitalization rates at the same time. We see all of these things across the board being children being affected by these as a result of these increased stressors that are occurring in the home.
Globally, more than 276 million people experience extreme food insecurity, pushing closer and closer to famine. In the U.S., over 13.8 million people already suffer from food insecurity. Right now, about 65% of the 200 food banks in the Feeding America network are seeing a greater demand for food assistance. Pastor Joshua Giles of Kingdom Embassy Church in Minneapolis has been warning of a coming food shortage for several years. He points to the biblical story of Joseph as an example of how the church should respond to the crisis while preparing to help others.
I do believe that we can purchase certain things and store them up. I'm not encouraging people to panic buy at all. But what I'm saying is just use the wisdom of God. And when we read about Joseph in scripture, he endured one of the greatest famines in history. And the Lord gave them strategies and insight on how to navigate that famine.
Now that we see what we have to look forward to in the future, we don't have to be a victim. Now let's look at some ways that we can prepare. And I'm not talking about gathering toilet paper. You ever heard of homesteading? I'm about to show you a few clips of some people that do homesteading and to show you easy ways to do it, even if you don't live in a house or have a lot of land. There are many ways that we all, no matter your circumstance, can prepare. Let's go.
If you want to start producing your own food, maybe growing a little garden or raising some chickens, then just do it. It's really not that hard. You don't have to live on 5, 10, 20 acres. You don't have to live out in the middle of the country. You can do this in a suburban environment. If you have a sunny spot in your backyard, you can raise a garden, and you can potentially even have some of your own chickens without a rooster. They don't make a lot of noise. You can have them in the city, and you can begin to produce your own food. You just got to be willing to start, jump in, and learn from people around you, learn from people online that are creating content. Just jump right in, and you can do it. I promise. Here are 5 things to consider when starting a homestead. Number 1 is location. What's the soil type like? Is it rocky? Is it clay? Is it sand? Is it all forest? Is it all pasture? Do you have access to water? How close is it to town where you have to take your kids to school? All these things you need to take into account. The second thing is resources, and I'm mainly referring to financial resources. It costs money to start a homestead, to start a garden, so make sure you have some money set aside. Number 3 is time. Raising animals, taking care of them, managing a garden, taking care of a homestead, all these things, it takes time. So if you travel a lot, if you're never home, homesteading is probably not a good fit for you. Number 4 is skills. It does take time learning how to grow a garden, how to manage animals. But the best way to learn is by watching tons of content like this and just starting. No one learns a new skill by sitting on the sidelines. You got to jump in and just start. The last thing to consider are, what are your goals for your homestead? You may want everything on your homestead. That's going to dictate your land base, how much space you need. I personally think that 5 acres is a great size for a homestead. You can produce a ton of food on 5 acres.
The reason that I homestead and the reason that I'm relearning skills like raising chickens and growing my own food, learning how to can, building a food storage, making my own homemade butter, and my personal favorite, milking my cow for my own raw milk. I am taking the time to learn these skills because no one else is going to do it for me. Our ancestors were so great at being self-sufficient, and I feel like just a few generations and a lot of this information has been lost, at least from my ancestors passing down to me. So I want to relearn it and pass it down to my future family. Rooster approved.
All right, I'm back. So y'all saw everything. And if you missed anything, please rewatch. So y'all saw everything. My bad. I had a little echo because I had some, because I was like doing double shit. Like, anyway, moving on, right? Food insecurity. Y'all saw the title, y'all saw the content, y'all saw the videos, y'all saw the clips. At the end of the day, my purpose of doing this was to show you that food insecurity or poverty or whatever label you want to put on it applies to anybody. You, me, them over there, him down there, like anybody, right? And there's levels to it. You got poverty, you got food price increase. Let me give y'all an example, right? Because I'm mood fuck on, because I'm not gonna stay on this shit because I got shit to do. Oh, now they talking about a whole fucking storm, but we still got shit to do. So I'm going to be at a whole fucking birthday party tomorrow. I'm going to, I don't know if I can go live. What I do is, I want people to understand what I do, right? Nowadays.
because I'm in a whole nother situation. I'm divorced. So I'm with a whole nother person for the past almost 3 years, right? Keep up. Now, what I like to do is, first of all, I respect people that's around me. And if people tell me that's around me, they don't want to be on camera. Because think about this. A lot of people, they have certain jobs. It's a lot of people that's not on social media. So if they say they don't want to be on camera, they don't want me to say shit, I can barely do shit. As a matter of fact, if anybody follows me, a lot of this shit, I be trying to go live, right? And I ain't gonna say shit. Because I be thinking if I don't say shit, it might make it, I don't know, like, right? Now, with that being said, they still get me at the copyright. So if you don't see shit, they got me at the copyright. Now, with that being said, I respect the people that's around me. If they tell me they don't want to be on camera or they don't do social media or whatever the case may be, I respect it. I am in a different place. I think the issue is with some people, they don't understand that people evolve, people move the fuck on, or if they're not around a certain mofo no more, shit changes. So when shit changes, situations change. Moving the fuck on. Poverty. Food price increases. I've talked about that and y'all gonna see that, right? Poor market access. People, I showed that, right? Environment, right? You lose your job. So you lose your job, you don't have that income no more, right? Climate. It's a whole lot of branches, aka situations, why somebody is experiencing a food insecurity. I'm gonna show you something. I'm not gonna show it to you. Fuck that shit. Fuck. I already showed y'all, but look on the screen. What about you? Do you know somebody that has experienced a food insecurity? Or are you too good? I showed y'all what they said, what you can do. Matter of fact, I've talked about this from years ago. I was talking about the pantry. I was talking about what you could do as far as like build up your own shit, right? I even said in this, if y'all paid attention right tonight, I even said, be very, very careful. You don't want example. I paid for XYZ, whatever. All right, let me give you an example, right? So, my man, right? One of his homeboys, right? It's a black man. I'm saying this for a reason because I want black people to understand that this shit is very possible for us. He is so deep in Maryland. Oh, we all have to prepare ourselves for this shit. Nigga, are you watching? Like, we have to prepare ourselves for this trip. There is at least a 3-hour fucking road trip. And we are all still, when you start this road trip, you are starting this shit in Maryland or the DC line. Like, the bottom line is you starting this shit. So we've done this a few times. I love it. No complaints, right? I love it. As a matter of fact, the last time when we went, this motherfucker not only has all the land, right? All the I feel so bad for these chickens. I be up there talking to the chickens and shit. Like I don't think I recorded none of that. But I'll be up there talking to the chickens. I feel so bad for these motherfuckers because everything. And I'm looking like, no. As a matter of fact, I got one of them motherfuckers in my deep freezer right now. I ain't lying. Shit. Follow me on Patreon and you're gonna find out. I didn't cook that motherfucker yet, but that motherfucker in my deep freezer. This some fuck shit for your ass. I got one of them motherfucking chickens in my deep freezer. I felt so bad. I didn't even want to do this shit. Like I held this shit off for so fucking long. But let's go. Like, right? Anyway, come down to it. We about to leave. My mate like, okay, you got to pack it up. We got to, okay, fine. I'm going around like, now with that being said, then his kids is proud. It's a black man. His kids is proud because he raised them, right? He raised them right as hell. These mofos walking me back to introduce me to the goats. I'm thinking I'm just going back to say hi to the goats because I love animals. I'm like, hey, what's up? What's up, Tiki? Like, what's up? I love animals, right? Shit. Go back to the goats. These motherfuckers. Oh no, they was like one of them motherfuckers almost bit my fucking hand. But nonetheless, when the owner came back, he was like, they too old for me to do XYZ, right? So that's why now they pets. Now the new shit you see back there, they're not pets. So we about to get milk and cheese and all types of shit about them. Okay, I'm like, oh hell no. So I want y'all to know that, yeah, us black people, we can do that too. Anyway, so I did all that just to say all this. Pay attention. Pay attention. That's it, that's all. Pay attention. Support what you want to support, but stop the BS. If you're not already support me on my Patreon, please do so because by Monday of next week, all the uploads, I'm talking about all the videos that I was supposed to upload, they all gonna be uploaded by Monday. So please support me over there. I appreciate all y'all that already over there support me. Thank you. If you want to tip me, the host, that's another thing. I get so tired of this shit. You can't expect somebody to keep doing shit and you're not supporting. But it is what it is. Do what the fuck you want to do. I got Cash App. I got PayPal. Everything's in the description box. Thank y'all for watching. I appreciate all y'all. Have a good night and have a great weekend. And like I said, I got some shit going on. Starting tomorrow, which is Saturday. And I still, to this day, don't understand why certain people think that I'm supposed to put me and my fam on camera. And I still don't understand to this day. Let me hip y'all to something with Evvonne. When I started out on this bitch, not only was I on camera, I was always on camera. Then I stopped recently because I had other people advising me saying, stop. You need to charge people. Energy is not free, like blah, blah, blah. Like, right, stop. I'm like, okay. I never understood when I chose to stop. I was talking to my sister and everybody. I'm like, what the fuck? When I chose to stop, because see, remember, for the longest time, I was on camera. Ain't nobody say shit. But when I stopped, all of a sudden, when I stopped, I don't have a man. I don't have no teeth. I don't even understand how I'm talking to y'all right now with no teeth. I don't have no teeth. I have none of this shit. So I'm looking around like, what the fuck? But then everybody, they're like, man, fuck these people. Blah, blah, blah. Like, it is what the fuck it is, right? I'm like, what? No, this is weird ass shit. But anyway, anybody know me, they like, fuck this shit, ignore these. But I'm like, no, still this shit bothers me. Because what the fuck they talking about? But anyway, it is what the fuck it is, right? I get it. I get it. Move the fuck on. Don't say nothing else. But I'm still looking like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? But anyway, I'll do that for y'all. I appreciate y'all. Anyway, as a matter of fact, the other day, I had some messages. I appreciate you, Evvonne, blah, blah. I appreciate you. I really, really do. I do. That's the only reason I'm saying this right now. I appreciate you. Anybody that's been rocking with me since 2015, I appreciate you. Please be safe. Take care. I'm about to end this because I got shit to do. And y'all might see what the fuck I'm doing this weekend. Oh, yeah, they talking about some storms, but that don't stop shit over here. Message. Have a good night, y'all. Please be safe. And at the end of the day, we support what we care about. You can't complain that you're not getting the type of content that you want if you're not supporting it. Good night.